Hello, this is the Captain back. So back with the Titanfall 2 multiplayer gameplay commentary. Back on PC because I just love it. My terrible aim and other players' really good aim just makes for some really adrenaline-inducing games. Even though I'm only averaging about 10 kills per game as opposed to 20. But anyway, I'm going to use this video as a platform for what I think is going to be a really controversial idea and this really weird, like, almost negative idea, which, well, it's the idea that the small community that we have, the really niche community we have surrounding Titanfall 2, is a really good thing. And that kind of sounds, when you spin it the right way, it sounds like I don't want this game to grow in popularity. I don't want the community to expand. I don't want more people playing it, which isn't really true at all. Like, I want more people to experience this game because it is a fantastic game, and I think everybody should be able to enjoy it. But the numbers just say no. Nah, people are not interested in Titanfall 2. They want to play other games, and that's fine, you know. And in fact, that's more than fine with me because I like the niche community we have because it. Well, here comes the tinfoil hat kind of thing, right? The niche community we have is very, very passionate. But if the community expands to such a point where it becomes like one of the best-selling games out there, one of the top 3 shooters, then all of a sudden the majority of the community is not going to be this passionate niche community that we have, but it's going to be a community of casual players who will play a couple of hours every week and don't really care what the patches entail. They don't really care what the changes are. They just want to sit down and play. You know, they're not watching videos on YouTube. They're not getting involved in discussions on in the comments or on Reddit or forums, whatever. They're just playing the game a couple of hours a week. Which, I mean, it's not bad for Respawn or EA because, you know, it's a lot of people playing the game. It's a lot of money, and obviously I feel like Respawn deserves all of that for all of the work they've put into making Titanfall 2 the amazing game that it is. Which is why this is a bit of a weird video for me to make, where it's like, I want Respawn to do well because I love the game that they've made, but at the same time, I don't want the game to grow as a community that much, if you know what I mean. And this basically stems from fear of the developers kind of becoming disconnected with what the hardcore fans want, because what the hardcore fans want is completely different from what the casual players want, right? Casual players just want a fun experience, whereas the more hardcore players want something they can really sink their teeth into. They want something they can understand. They want like really good balance amongst the Titans and weapons across the board. They want changes to this map or the other map. They have a different vision of what the game should become to what the casual players want. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, if that kind of voice becomes a lot smaller, then all of a sudden the developers are going to be listening to it less, you know, because it's going to be less important. It's going to be more important to please the casuals because they're the larger fan base than it is the hardcore players, if you know what I mean. And, well, this comes from this is something I think about a lot. Like, what if Titanfall was a heck of a lot more popular? Would we have seen Tone nerfed? Would we have seen Ion nerfed? I don't know. Probably, because, you know, they're incredibly strong. But you have to beg the question: what else would have been nerfed? Would the G2 be nerfed by now? Would the Devotion have been nerfed as hard as it was? Would the Spitfire have been buffed? I don't know. Probably. But you can never tell. Just because, well, that's just how things like that go, you know. Yeah, a bit of a weird video to make. And I've seen this kind of thing happen with Dark Souls, where the community of Demon Souls and Dark Souls very, very small, right? Made up of a small community of generally very hardcore players who are incredibly passionate about the game. A little bit like Titanfall, right? But then Dark Souls 2 sought to popularize the franchise, and they did. And I hated Dark Souls 2. But I don't think I hated Dark Souls 2 because they tried to make it more popular. I hated Dark Souls 2 because it just wasn't a good Dark Souls game in my eyes because it was made by the wrong people. But then, of course, Bloodborne came out and everybody seemed to love that, and then Dark Souls 3 sought to put the Bloodborne into Dark Souls to popularize Dark Souls even more, because hey, everybody seemed to like how Bloodborne did it, why not put that in Dark Souls? And the answer is because it doesn't fucking work in Dark Souls, you know? You're trying to fit a square into a circle, you know? It doesn't work like that, and the reason why they did that is because they saw all the positive reception that Bloodborne got, and they wanted to make it so that Dark Souls would be just as popular, if not more popular. So like, hey, let's make bank off of the success, or what Bloodborne did, right? And let's put that in Dark Souls. I'm going around in circles here, aren't I? You kind of get what I mean. Like, they turned Dark Souls 3 into something that wasn't Dark Souls in my eyes. They started to try and make it more popular by kind of casualizing it and making it actually incredibly easy to beat the game. But then it lost its identity. It lost what it meant to be Dark Souls. And that's a completely different video. If you're interested in that, I have like a 28-minute video on why I hate Dark Souls 3. Because I was really mad. I was so mad I made a really long video about it. So, I've seen a game that I love, that had a really small community, turn into a game that I absolutely hate with a very large community. So I'm frightened that the same thing is going to happen to Titanfall, my beloved Titanfall that I love so much and care for so dearly. It'll become a casualized monster. No, I don't want that. I don't want my Call of Duty in my Titanfall. I want my Titanfall in my Titanfall. Do you know what I mean? And that's why it's a bit of a interesting video to make, because like I said, I want Respawn to do well. I want Titanfall to do well. I want them to be successful because I feel like they deserve to be successful, but at the same time I don't want them to be so successful that they end up making shit games. You know what I mean? I don't want Titanfall 3 to be the Dark Souls 3 of the Dark Souls franchise, you know? I want Titanfall 3 to be like what would be an apt comparison? Halo 3. I want Titanfall 3 to be the Halo 3 of Titanfall. You know, I want it to be quite possibly the best game ever made. You know, I don't want it to turn into something that all the casual players can enjoy, but kind of feels really disconnected from what the hardcore players want, who have been playing since the first game. You know. So, yeah, bit of a weird video to make. Probably doesn't make any sense to a lot of people, and that's fine, you know. I feel like even if this video gets incredibly popular, which it won't because it's my channel, knowing my luck, I feel like the Titanfall community will be at least respectful of this notion, because the Titanfall community, like I said, is incredibly close-knit. It's a really nice community to be in, because everybody is giving constructive criticism to one another. All the YouTubers are super friendly to one another. It's just a really, really nice community to be in, and I guess I'm just scared that it's gonna go away. I don't want it to go away because it's an incredible place to be. Yeah. I don't want it to leave. I want it to stay here forever. You know? Just locked in time, in stasis. Preserve it forever. But yeah, this is coming close to the end of the match, or it is the end of the match. The enemies are making their escape. I'm still pretty bad on PC, but I'm still loving it. You know, I definitely need to get back into playing this more and more often. I don't know why I don't play it more often. Maybe it's because I'm playing like a load of other games like Fallout New Vegas and Killing Floor 2, which has come free on PlayStation. But, you know, I'll always come back to Titanfall because it's just way too good not to. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you agreed with this or enjoyed it somehow, like, really, genuinely just thank you. Because I don't expect this to be the most well-received video I've ever made. And I'll catch you next time.